So today I'm going to be showing you how to remediate this document here, and we're going to convert it to a PDF. But we need to do something too before we do that because there's a table here in the header, and it's not for tabular data. It's been used basically to give the page structure. And generally you don't want to do that, but in this case, we don't really have a choice at this point. So we're going to keep this table here, but we're going to convert it to an image. And then we're going to use all the text that is within this table to be alternate text for the image so that the screen reader reads it as if it is text. Okay. So let's think about how we're going to do that. So basically, I'm going to be using Microsoft's snipping tool that's built into Windows to do that. So, and we're going to be selecting this table and snipping it to make it an image. So let's go ahead and open our snipping tool. We're going to click New so I can show you how to do that. And you'll see this X here on the screen. You're going to line that up with the upper left-hand corner of your image. Okay, make sure that you're including any borders that are part of that table. And I'm just going to drag it out to the right. Okay. And just make sure you have all the borders, okay? And then you can let go. It takes a screenshot, and there's the image now in our snipping tool. So let's go ahead and save that to a place where we know where it's at. So I'm going to save it to my downloads. You can save it to your desktop though, and I'm just going to name it table to be inserted. I'm going to save that. Okay. Now I can go ahead and close that. Now, the next step would be to remove this table from the document. So I'm going to click anywhere in the table and click these little crosshairs up here, this little X, and click on that. That selects the whole table. As soon as you do that, this little box shows up, okay, with choices on what you can do. Okay, we're going to select the down arrow on the delete and select delete table. Okay, so now it's gone. And now we're going to insert that image. Okay. So we'll go to the insert menu, insert picture from this device, and we're going to locate the image that we saved from the snipping tool. So that was in our downloads, or at least for me, it's in my downloads folder. And I named it table to be inserted. Okay, so you'll notice it's bigger than what we have on this than we want it to be, right? Because on the original Word document, it was within the borders. So we want to line up basically with the word purpose on the left, okay? So I select the image. I'm going to go over here to the right, and we're going to shrink it a little bit by dragging up on that corner. Then I'm going to let go when I think it looks good. What you'll notice though is that it's not aligned to the center of the screen. So I'm going to go over to my home button and I'm going to center that. And if we think it looks good, then we can leave it alone. But if we think that it still doesn't look right, we can continue to adjust this. Okay. Till we feel that it's lined up good. Now, you'll notice though that it's pretty close to the word purpose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor on the right-hand side of the table or the image there, and I'm going to hold down my shift key and press enter, and that brings it down just one line, okay? Because if we don't do it just one line, it will, with a regular carriage return, it will have too large of a space in between. So if you're happy with the way that looks, we can go ahead and we can actually save this as a PDF now, and then we will do the rest of our work over in Adobe Pro. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to go over to Acrobat and we'll create PDF. If you want, actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and just save this. Okay, save a copy of it. And because we don't want to lose the changes that we just made to the Word document. Okay, and let's give it a name. We'll call this, we'll just put on the end of it, we'll call table removed. Table removed. Okay, and I'm going to save that. Okay, and now we're going to create PDF. And this message is good. That's fine. Continue. Okay, and so now we're saving it as a PDF. Table removed is fine. And I'm going to say save. Now, something that confuses me is that even though we're doing this, we're in this process, it's still going to leave Word open. So when we're done converting this to the PDF, we might want to go ahead and close Word. Okay, so I'm going to minimize that. And here's my Word document. I'm just going to go ahead and close that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go back to our PDF that we just created. Okay, so now we can start remediating it right here in Adobe Pro. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look on the right-hand side. There's these icons. The one that looks like a little guy in a circle, that's your accessibility. And that's what's going to check our document to see if it's accessible and let us know what needs to be done to fix it. We already know that this image here needs to have alt text. So all the words that you see here cannot be read by a screen reader. So we need to put alt text in to describe this image. So the screen reader will read it. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the accessibility checker and see what it comes up with. So we're going to click accessibility check in this menu that opens, accessibility check. And I'm just going to leave all these at the defaults and I'm going to click start checking. Okay, so you can see here on the left-hand side, it lists the issues that are currently happening with this document. And of course, one of them here is this alt text, okay? And that is for that image. There's also an issue here with a list item, and it's telling me that this is the issue right here is this. So we'll take a look at that and fix that as well. Okay, and then of course, here's the alternate text figure. There's actually two now that need to be fixed. Let's go ahead and take care of these two right away, okay? So what I did is in Notepad, I went ahead and typed up all the text into Notepad, okay? And this is what it looks like, obviously, the text. And then I went ahead and removed all the carriage returns. I'm not sure that helped at all, but basically it's one long paragraph. And so I'm going to copy that. That's all the text that was in the table. And we're going to add that as alternate text to this table. So I'm going to right click on this and we're going to click fix, okay? And it's going to direct us what to do. So now we're going to place the alternate text here in this box. So I'm going to right click and paste, or you can do a control V, okay? So now we have all that text and we're going to say, well, actually, it does show that there's one more image that needs to have alternate text as well. So let's click next. Okay, so now for this, what it is trying to show us is that there is an image on this screen that needs alt text, or we can tell if it's a decorative figure. Since I don't know what that is, I'm going to go ahead and click cancel or save and close actually. And I'm going to go up here and see if we can figure out what it is. Okay, by clicking on figure one. So now you can see that there's only one failed here now, by the way. So what is that? Well, it doesn't show us specifically, but I know it's this line here. So there's really no alternate text for a line. It's really for decoration. So what we'll do to handle that is we're just going to right click and fix again. And we're just going to click this box that says decorative item and save and close. And when I do that, you're going to see that this is going to be fixed, okay? on the left. Okay. And you see that these are all passed now. Okay. So now we need to work on the next issue. The next issue is it's saying that there's some problems with this L body. These are the listed items. Okay. So in order to see what it's talking about, we can right click on it and we can click on show in tags panel. Okay. So I'm going to do that and we're going to take a look at this. Okay. If you notice, if you notice in the structure of these listed items, it's basically L for list, L for list, LI for list item. And that always shows up after the L. Okay. And then inside of LI is the L body. Okay. So in this particular instance, if we look back at this L body, it is not inside of an LI or list item. So it needs to be moved inside of a list item. Okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just take it and I'm going to drag this up until it's under an LI. And you just have to be careful. You're going to look for that little line there, okay, till it pops up underneath the LI. So now it's been moved under an LI. So now that is appropriately nested, okay? So now if we want to, we can go back to the accessibility checker with just this little guy over here on the left and see if we can get it to pass, okay? So we're going to right click and we're going to say check again. And you can see it's passed now. Okay, so let's see what items are still a problem up here in document 3 issues. Okay, so it says that there are 3 issues still. So the title is the easiest one to fix for now. Let's click on that and we're going to click the word fix. Okay, so it's saying that this top one called title needs to have a title. Okay, so if we go back to our notepad, the title of it, you guys can determine what you want the title to be, but I'm going to go ahead and give it the title of Adult and Children's System of Care Policy and Procedure Practice Guideline. Okay. I'm going to right click and copy that and go back to my PDF and I'm going to insert that by pasting it into my title. And then I'm going to click OK. And you can see that now title has passed. Now, color contrast, all you have to do is take a look at your document. Does it look good? Do you look at the contrast between black and white? Does the black and white look good? I think so. I think it looks really nice. Okay. All of the black characters against the white background looks great. So you're looking for contrast to make sure it looks good. Okay, so I think that looks great. So all we have to do on that is just right click and you can pass it or fail it, okay? Or skip it. We're going to pass it. Okay, logical reading order. So now to check the logical reading order, what we want to do is click on reading order here, okay? And it brings up this box here. You see the numbers here? That's the order it's going to be reading these items. So this picture, for instance, it says it's going to be read number 14. So we want to actually move that to be at the top, to be number 1, right? Okay. So what we want to do is with this reading orders open, okay, over here on the left, we can go back to reading order, which is this Z here. Okay, we're going to click on the Z. But this is where you have the order of how things are going to be read or tabbed. Okay, so if somebody's going to tab through your page, it's going to start with 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So we want to make sure that the image is at the top. So I'm going to click it, left click with my mouse, and I'm going to drag it up to be at the top. Now you see the image is now number 1. Now, I don't know what number 2 is, but I'm going to leave that there. It shouldn't cause too much of a problem because it's empty. Number 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that all looks really good. So you're just visually going through this and making sure that these are all in numerical order. Okay, let's go on to page 2. So again, just look through this and make sure that these are in correct order. If something's not in the correct order, you're just going to left click it and drag it up, okay? So just kind of visually go through this and take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and so forth, okay? If it looks good, go on to the next page. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Those need to be there, by the way. Those 16 and 17, 18. Okay, so just leave those. Whenever you see a bunch of tags for a link, just leave those there. Okay, and okay, so page 3 looks really good. I'm going to go on to page 4. Again, check that they're in numerical order. If you need to, you can drag one up in this panel here to get it in the correct order. Okay, we'll go on to page 5. Okay, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Everything looks really good. And then page 7, 6, we'll do that as well. And then we'll go on to page 7 and take a look. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so this looks pretty good. 19 might be a little out of order. So let's take 19, and so what we need to do is we're going to drag revision history, I think, up. It might be that 19 might be that line that's going across, okay? Yep, it is. 19 is just a path. In other words, you don't need to worry about it. It's just the decorative line. Yeah. So we're going to ignore that. Okay, so everything looks really good. So it's a good time to save this. So let's go ahead and change the name to something that's a little more relevant. Okay, so I'm just giving it a name like before screen reading. Okay, because the next part will be to actually test this with the screen reader. Okay, well, let's go ahead and test this out in our screen reader and see how it does. So I'm going to go ahead and close these different panels, the accessibility panel, and we'll have NVDA reader, screen reader, read it to us to see how well it does.
Loading NVDA. Please wait. 1/7C, users browse downloads. Most commands for controlling NVDA okay, but adult and children's system of care.
Okay, at this point, you're going to use the NVDA screen reader to read through your document. And if you feel that it does a great job and that there's nothing left to do, then you should be good to go. And you can assume now that your PDF has been remediated. You can go back into your PDF in the accessibility checker, look for the logical reading order needs manual check, and then go ahead and right click on that and select pass. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any other questions.